You ask one direct question, maybe about something they said, maybe about something that doesn't make sense. And instead of answering it clearly, the conversation starts moving somewhere else. Now they're talking about your tone, your timing, something unrelated from earlier. You try to bring the question back, but somehow you still never get a real answer. Now you're trying to explain why you asked the question in the first place. And something about the conversation has already shifted. You may notice yourself asking the same question again in a different way, just trying to make it clearer. Your body may sense the shift before your mind explains it. You may feel mentally scrambled while trying to stay focused on one simple point. You may recognize the moment when the conversation stops moving toward clarity. Now it feels like the question itself is disappearing. Some people describe this as a narcissistic communication pattern when it happens repeatedly. Not because every difficult conversation is narcissism, but because the interaction can begin organizing around avoiding clarity instead of creating it. One person's perspective starts becoming central, and the other person's concern slowly loses space. What this often does is shift the interaction away from the original question, from understanding what you asked, to managing confusion, emotion, or distraction instead. If your question is clearly answered, the issue may need to be addressed directly. But if the conversation becomes unclear, attention can keep moving before resolution fully forms. Confusion itself can become useful inside the interaction. If clarity increases, accountability may increase too. But if the conversation becomes foggy, the original concern can stay unresolved instead. Now you're responding to side topics instead of receiving an answer. The conversation starts moving where they want it to go. Your question begins losing space. And over time, this can feel exhausting. You may walk away wondering why such a simple question never became a simple conversation. Anyone can feel confused in a conversation that keeps changing direction. Many people respond to this by explaining more, simplifying the question, or trying harder to sound calm and reasonable. But the harder they try to bring clarity, the more the interaction sometimes moves away from the original point. In healthy conflict, questions are answered clearly enough for understanding to grow. Healthy conversations stay with the concern long enough to create resolution. Healthy conversations create clarity, not confusion, about why you asked in the first place. If this happens once, it may be misunderstanding. But when it repeats, a pattern can form. Feeling confused afterward can be information, not failure. Your confusion may be telling you something important about how the interaction keeps moving away from clarity. Recognizing this can bring clarity, because it helps explain why your questions keep getting redirected instead of resolved. If this helped put words to your experience, like the video and subscribe to the channel. This channel exists to help you recognize narcissistic and manipulative patterns calmly, clearly, and without blame, so you can understand what's happening and trust yourself again. And when conversations unfold this way, another pattern often begins to form. In the next video, we're going to explain why they turn the conversation back on you during conflict and how that pattern keeps the conversation from resolving. Click here to watch.